Yes. Who knows who's seen that word before? Yes, Krishna. That's exactly the name for Krishna. Yes, Krishna. In Hebrew, we do this. Yes. Because that's how you pronounce it, Jesus. They put a US on here, incorrectly, the Romans did. It's yes, in the name of the Son, as you just saw. And remember we had the cycles. So yes, and we also, when we say yes, we nod our heads because yes is the Son. It's positive. The Son is positive, negative. So when we say yes, we're referring to that yes. And we go up and down because the sun rises and the sun sets. So we do this, nod our heads. That becomes yes, which is yeah, which is yeah, which is year. Who is responsible for the year? The sun. Who is responsible for the month? Month is moon. Who's responsible for minutes? The moon. Who's responsible for hour? Horus. Can you see the word hour there? You and then the R. Hour. Who's responsible for the hour? The sun. Every hour. Every minute is the moon. What about day? Who's responsible for the day? Day is the word Deus in Latin, God. It's always the sun. All of our cycles, month, minute, hour, year, day, come from the bodies that generate those cycles. You just have to look and remember that the name of the sun is yes. Please take note of another cycle. There is the glorious moon, the wife of the sun. The moon, in all her splendour, does the same thing every 28, 29 days. New moon, full moon. Notice where the quarter moon is? Quarter, quarter. Full moon, new moon. When the sun reaches its fullness, then it has to wane. It waxes, it wanes. The moon is waxing, quarter. Full moon in her glory. Now this cycle is exactly in the woman's womb. It's the menstruation cycle. Men comes from moon. And isn't it funny, it takes 14 days for the egg to mature, and if it's fertilised, 270 days later, a child is produced, comes out of the womb. If not, 14 days later, it will bleed. The womb will bleed, won't it? And that one day and a little bit of the next day and a little bit of the day before, like a day and a half, nearly 2 days, you cannot see the moon. The new moon cannot be seen because it's in between the sun and the earth. So it's in between, you can't see it. But when it's opposite, you see the full moon. We just saw one 2 days ago. Beautiful. It's in its glory as the wife of the sun. And she does exactly the same thing. That's why I put Aries here, because Aries represents quarter moon. It's exactly the same cycle. She reflects the sun. And in fact, when you look at the light of the moon, it's not the light of the moon. It's just reflecting the sun's light. It's a reflector. And that's why when you do your astrology, you need to know not your sun sign only. The moon sign is also important, because that's your reflective attributes. How you react when someone scares you. You know, if you do this, you're a Leo. Your moon was in Leo. You know, if you sort of do this, well then you're Pisces. You're softer. If you think about it, you might be Virgo. But that's how you tell someone's moon sign. And the ascendant also gives other features. Those three must be known. The ascendant is here at right ascension, at the first month of the year. Primus, Secundus, third, fourth. I've got the names written here. Primus, Secundus, Tertius, Quartus, Quintus, Sestus and Sept, September. Because it all begins here. Now, I have one more thing to do and then we can get right into it. The sun rules Leo. The seven-rayed god, according to Plutarch. The seven-rayed god, where did we see 7 before? It's everywhere. Everything is 7. A septenary. In fact, everything is 12, 7, 4 and 3. Trinity, quadruplicity, septenary and dozen. You will see these numbers everywhere in the physical world. They are God's numbers. In fact, the Jews, the Kabbalists say that God loves nothing better than the number 7. It's his greatest creation. The number 7? Of course, because it is creation. You can't have 6. You have to have 7 layers of this, of physicality. The moon. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. In their order, in fact, right? From Mercury, very close, the sun, Mercury is always close by to the sun because Mercury is closest to the sun. That's why Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. Venus is next. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. Okay? Very important to understand these because you see the oppositions. Now, we looked at this agriculturally and we saw how spring is here. Oh yes, well, Aries is the wool of the land. That fixed fire is summer. Well, hang on a minute. Why would the sun, I mean, let's think about this. Why would the sun have its home in Leo? Well, let's have a look at it. Here's summer, the summer solstice. It always takes 40 days after the sun hits one of these cardinal points, because remember these are cardinal. See the cardinal? Cardinal. The cardinal points are these. The Great Cross. The Great Cross. When the sun hits that, it takes 40 days for it to reach its fullness. And that's midsummer. The hottest, the dog days begin here in July. Go for 3 or 4 weeks. But it's also 2 to 4, isn't it? Do you remember 6 o'clock is over here? 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2. Well, isn't 2 to 4 the hottest part of the day? It's the hottest part of the day. And when you look at the body, it's in the heart. Isn't that the hottest part of the body? Hot blood? That's where the heat comes from the blood. It's the heart. So, of course fixed fire is there. I mean, let's have a look at it naturally, okay? Let's have a look at just the fire signs, the triplicity of the fire signs. So we've got fire, fire, and fire. Fixed fire, cardinal fire, fixed fire, mutable fire. This is, of course this is cardinal. Remember, cardinal is starting, expansive, explosive, beginning. You use, I mean, you look at all the cardinal people. I mean, aren't they directional? You can tell by the way they walk. I can pick, oh, this has got to be, oh, I can see someone walking down, it's got to be a Capricorn. I mean, look at, you know, they just walk direct. You know, the Leo's sort of more fixed and they're more casual, and then the mutable people are so adaptable and they don't, you know, necessarily show these strong choleric features. Because Carl Jung, no, it wasn't Carl Jung, Carl Jung gave us the intuitive people, the thinking people, the emotional people. Interesting? Emotional? And the sense people, the 5 sense people. Molecule, solidity, carbon, sense. You look at the way a Capricorn, or especially a Virgo, with their earth, 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 you look at the way these people, you know, the way they use their senses. They love to touch things and feel things, and they get all their information from their 5 senses. Not all of it, but they work better than these guys. These guys tend to be, you know, just Well, I won't say. Okay, but have you seen your Libran friends and your Aquarian friends? Man, you know, I mean, you can just see the busy eyes, man. They're thinking. They're a thinking person. They process everything by thinking. And then these people are all emotional. It's all, I wonder what I feel about that. You know, Pisces especially, mutable water on the feet. That's why they say Pisceans understand and are always misunderstood. Well, because Pisces is in the feet. And the feet, it's not just the feet. It rules the nervous system. Just like the heart chakra rules the blood also. But you see how this is cardinal fire? Because it's early in the morning. That's a good place to put cardinal fire. So we begin to see that this is a science. Fixed fire has to be there. The sun must live there. That is the home it's got to be. Any fool would put the sun there. And any fool would put his opposite brother Satan or Saturn, Mr. Cold. It's freezing. If you're ever going to take a trip to Saturn one day when they get the Voyager, or whatever, Voyager Mark 16 or whatever, bring some jumpers along, right? Mr. Hot, Mr. Cold, look at the polarities. Look at the fixed signs. Fixed, fixed and fixed. Okay, the four fixed. Look at them. There's the polarity of Mr. Hot and Mr. Cold, Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars. The Korean sun. The Korean flag. This is the South Korean flag, guys. Earth, fire, air and water. Male, feminine. Yin and yang. It's just science. It's all science. And when you look at your corporate logos, which every single one of these is the sun. Shell, L is the sun. McDonald's, sign of Aries. Red and yellow is the sun. Target, the sun. Do you remember the symbol for the sun? The earth was a circle with a plus sign in the middle. The sun is a circle with a dot in the middle. Look at that one. Is that not the Jewish menorah? The wings of the sun. The sun. All these car models, they all have the wings of the sun. Sorry? Yes. What about Holden? Leo with the sun. There's the Holden wings. Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Leo, the sun, the ring, the golden ring. The CIA, the sun, Central Intelligence Agency. Lucent Technologies. The sun is lucent. Lucy in the sky. Time Warner, there's the eye of the sun. That's the label for Elvis Presley. Where would you put the king? On top of the sun. It's the king. Ra. Ra, Horus, Set, Osiris. That's the four names of the sun in Egyptian. Ra, radiate, royal, regal, Mithra, Surya of the Hindus. Ra is Israel, Abraham, Sarah. Ra is the sun up here. Ra in all his glory because he radiates. The rays of the sun come from Ra. And Horus, as I said before, hour. Because Horus, the sun, is always in the horoscope. On the horizon. The horizon, what's a zone? It's a belt. The Horus zone. When you say, oh, I'm just watching the horizon, well, you've got two words there. Horus, the sun, and belt. Zone is a belt. Zoni in Greek. Zoni is a belt. The black sun, Saturn, the twin brother of Jesus. MasterCard, two suns with the Vesica Pisces. 72 petals. I can go on about 72. 72, the average age of the human. 72 degrees, the sun goes back in precession. 1 degree every 72 years. The average blood, the heartbeat, 72. It's everywhere because it comes from precession. It comes from our